What is going on, everyone? Been a while since I've been on here, but I got a special guest for you guys today. We got one of the new cats, the young guys that are starting their journey on YouTube. I'm very impressed with this young man. He's I think he's just started about a month or two ago, so still fresh in the game. Uh, Very knowledgeable for his age. But I wanted to bring on Karkast, aka Karthik. And I wanted to pick his brain on all things 49ers as we get closer to the draft. So, Karthik, welcome to the show, my man.
Hey man, what's up, Aaron? It's truly an honor. I appreciate you for having me on your show. I was looking forward to this entire week, man. So it's truly an honor. I appreciate you for having me on the show, man. And how's your Saturday night going?
Saturday night's going good. Pretty blah outside. I'm still waiting for the weather to get nice. I'm one of those people that likes to get his lawn looking nice with fertilizer and grass seed and have it looking beautiful. But I can't do anything right now because it's raining too much. So other than that, everything's good. But so we talked back a ways, and we were talking and thinking that we needed to collaborate at some point. And so this all kind of worked its way together. I guess my first question to you being only 15, which is not a bad thing. I'm just old. With you being only 15, what was your what kind of sparked your interest in the San Francisco 49ers as a kid to get you to the point where you started a YouTube channel?
And it's weird because, none of my family friends, they're not really big sports fans. They're not really big Niner fans. They really like the Giants and Jets since they live on the East Coast. But I'm like, why not mix it up, man? Because, I was one of those kids. We were talking about this off camera, but I was just one of those kids, man. I was just one of those sports nerds that used to just sit inside my house and watch NFL replays. I just wanted to get to know more of the game. I just wanted to be the best of the best. I just wanted to know more about football, not only football, but like about the Niners. They had such a good franchise back then with Joe Montana and Steve Young, Jerry Rice. So like, I'm not like, I was like one of those kids. Like, why not support this? Why not support this franchise? Why not support these legends? And if you look at our roster today, you got Deebo Samuel, you got Jawan Jennings pregame repping Jerry Rice t-shirts, and I'm like, why not support the guys we love today on the 49ers roster who looked up to legends, And I'm like, why not just support this great franchise as a whole? And your second part to the question where you asked, how did I come up with creating a YouTube channel? I'm like, why not just put my voice out there? Like, look, I just want to support this team. I just want to speak my mind. So like, I was like, why not just put my voice out there, create my own channel, get those subs and do collabs with you, Aaron. Like, I just, just talk Niners, just talk football. And, if you want to go behind something, if you want to go behind your passion, you just stick with it,
Yep.
Stick to it thick and thin. So that's what you got to do, man. So
I was telling you off stream about when my friend used to play Madden because we didn't have this ability to go on YouTube or make like podcast or stuff in the mid 90s. I'm sure we could have recorded ourselves on like a tape recorder and then uploaded it years later. But anyways, and we used to broadcast our own games or we'd script our plays that we were going to use in our first 15 plays on Madden. I mean, that's how mentally obsessed we were. If we played backyard ball, it was the same thing. We'd have scripted plays. We would practice certain plays on the field. Me and my friend were like, hey, let's run this play when we play this team, and then we'll run this play off of this play, kind of like how Kyle will set up one play to go to another. Yeah, and that's my genesis was kind of like yours, but I didn't have the means of YouTube back then. So you're definitely you're growing up in a pretty cool time where there's a lot of ways to get your voice and your face out there. So I just say best of luck to you, man. Just you got to grind. It's going to be tough because you're in school still probably, and you got to do it based on the life that you're living. But yeah, just stay at it. Maybe it's something that you only do for a little bit. Maybe this becomes something that you do as a profession, but everybody has to start their journey somewhere. So I got nothing but respect for you and the fact that you're gracious. You ask for help. You're nice about it. You're not pushy. And I'll always, and I know someone like Jay in the Bay can agree in the comments and probably even know Border Sports. Anytime it's a young kid who's just starting out, who's like really young, a lot of us old guys are always going to you always want to help, because it's an honest, authentic person asking. It's not like it's just different when you're someone your age because it's coming from a good place. So I'll always be there to help anybody who is authentic and real and cool. So I wanted to get into the chat really fast because a lot of people have jumped in here so far.
Yeah.
Want to say hi to Kimberly Honia. Welcome. No Border Sports. What's going on, brother? 49ers Chanel. What's up? Faithful, how you doing? David McNew. He's been around a long time. He says, what's up, Aaron and Karkast? Jay in the Bay. Gracious for the $5 super chat, my man.
What's up, Jay?
We got to get something going, Jay, soon. Me and Jay, he's one of my closest YouTube friends going back in the beginning when I didn't even know he had a YouTube channel. He used to comment on my videos all the time. And then one day I just happened to ask somebody and they're like, he has a YouTube channel, right? I'm like, really? And then of course I find it and he's like super enthusiastic and has so much personality. And I'm like, I need to be more like him. So yeah, definitely appreciate that, Jay. Calvin Brown says, pay Deebo. Haven't had a receiver that talented since T.O. Definitely agree. Niner Faithful. Hey, First Takes. What's going on, man? I love your profile picture, bro. That is a sweet picture. I love Dion, man.
Yep.
100% says no border sports. He agrees. And of course, he's going to say, what's good to Jay, who's in the chat. So thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate you coming in. It's been a while. Thought I'd have the young man on here and kind of pick his brain about everything that's been going on in the offseason. So my first question to you is, I wanted to go with the latest signing that the Niners made a couple days ago, and that was of Kimoko Toure, the outside pass rusher from the formerly of the Indianapolis Colts. What's your opinion on him? Have you got a chance to look at him? And are you excited that another kind of under the radar player is going to have a chance to work with Chris Kasarik and maybe good things come out of it?
Of course, man. Kimoko Toure. I don't know if you saw it, but last year he had 5.5 sacks with the Indianapolis Colts. That was a career high. So I'm really impressed with this guy. I'm really impressed by what the 49ers are really doing in free agency. I don't know if you have seen the trend, but they're really adding depth pieces.
Yep.
They're really adding bodies to these positions. And, he's a speed rusher. And like you said, he's more of that under the radar kind of guy. He's going to add depth on the edge on the other side of Bosa. And you've already got Kerry Hyder. You've already got Samson Ebukam on that side, adding depth and, rotation pieces. I think this guy could just get plugged in, on crucial third downs. He can rush the passer. He's got great hand usage. Need to watch more film of him, but I've seen his hand usage in Indy. He's really good. He's a good speed rusher. He's big, 5.5 sacks last year. So this guy's a monster, man. He could do what you want in the 49er system. And working under a guy like Chris Kosurik, I think this guy could get paid, man. Chris Kosurik has guys that come in like average players, and he gets them paid, man. He gets them paid year in and year out. And working with the best D-line coordinator in the NFL is just great, man. I hope this guy gets paid. So
there's funny that some people are making fun of the Instagram live. They said he was kind of sleepy, but he was. People were asked. He made a comment about that it was just an obvious choice to come to the Niners and work with Chris Kasarik and how he could take guys and turn their careers around. It'll be interesting to see. It feels like the Niners just rent these guys for a year and then they move on from them and they grab another piece. We get attached to these guys, but the Niners don't. So he might be a 1-year deal where we see him this year and then they bring in some other piece next year. To me, you're right. A lot of the signings have been fringe players like depth, like Malik Turner or Ray McLeod. A lot of the other signings were special teams. Yeah. I feel like they're giving themselves an opportunity at 61 to go with best player available. That's the feeling I'm getting, which is the best. That's the best thing to do, because I think anytime you go into a draft and go for a specific player and you target a specific position, you have the you have that unfortunate ability to reach and reach for somebody, and then they end up not being any good.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're stacking their roster the way that they are, they could go anywhere from safety to O-line to they could still go edge. If they double down on edge at pick 61, I would not be mad at all, because I think you can never have enough pass rush. But I would also be good with safety, because I think That would kind of signify the changeover from a guy like Jaquiski Tart to somebody who's younger and healthier and cheaper. So it's funny, Tart is still out there, and the safety market is really slow because it's such a good draft class for safeties. So you never know. He could come back and play for us another year. Jaquiski Tart. I'm not ruling that out at all because, I mean, look at as of now, what's his name is still on the market, Tyrann Mathieu, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Matthew might end up getting like a 1-year deal somewhere. I wouldn't be mad.
They got George Odom at safety. He's just going to be one of those guys that sticks for 1 year and just going to dip the building.
I just don't have a lot of confidence in a guy who's barely played safety and is more of a special team piece. So I don't think the Niners are sold on him completely. I mean, if they are, then they see way more in him than a lot of us do, but it'll be interesting for sure.
For sure.
I wanted to get your thoughts, of course, on the Deebo Samuel situation. Before we talk about contractual stuff, are you surprised about all this nonsense that, people are giving him death threats and dropping racial epithets towards him? I thought that was pretty low class for the Niners fans. Not surprised because there's a lot of keyboard warriors out there, but what was your thoughts when you heard that?
No, it's unbelievable and it's unacceptable, man. It's 2022 and these racial slurs are still going out to a guy like Deebo Samuel who has such thick skin. This man works his butt off every day in practice and every day in games. I know the faithful come and support this organization, but this guy plays his butt off every day for the faithful, man. And this is how we repay the favor? No, it's just unacceptable. That's the first thing I want to say. Like, death threats and stuff like that, it's all part of the negotiation process. But, like, that's just going way too far, man. Like, and I don't care if Deebo, he's chill about it. That's just unacceptable. It's 2022. The faithful's got to do better. We're the faithful, man. Like, this is a bad look for a fan base, for organization as a whole. Like, it's unacceptable. It's just simple as that.
Yeah.
But,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, if he was a free agent right now, that might be something that would give him an incentive to leave. We're lucky that he's still under contract and that we can negotiate an extension because, I mean, from what I heard, there was part of the reason that Raheem Mostert decided not to sign with the 49ers is just some of the reaction that him and his wife got after he got hurt again last year.
Yeah.
And I don't blame anybody whatsoever. I'm thinking you're going to get it from any fan base because there's scumbags everywhere. There's people that are, low class, behind the scenes racist or behind the scenes, haters who talk a bunch of trash behind a keyboard, but in real life they never would dare. So it's what I don't understand is at the end of the day, this man plays in a physical sport where one play could determine that his career is over. Why would you not try to get as much money out of it as possible, especially the way he plays, how physical he plays, and how much the Niners use him? It's negotiation tactics. The whole scrubbing your social media thing, it's a negotiation tactic. That's all it is. And people are like getting way too upset and over emotional about it. Listen, they could trade him. It happened to DeForest Buckner. Do I think they're going to? No. Could it happen? Absolutely. There's been talk that if they got the right deal that they couldn't pass up, they would think about it. But for people to get so into their feelings and so into their, the fact that you'd send a death threat to an athlete who you've never met, who's playing a game, a child's game, is to me is just, I don't even understand. Like, don't you have a job? Don't you have something to do that can waste your time than to go online and be, an undercover hater? So
yeah,
pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, I like to say, like, all these people that are sending out death threats and racial slurs, these are all fantasy football fans. Like, I don't know if you know, but when Raheem Mostert got injured the last year, everybody was bashing him and his wife, saying, "You're messing up my fantasy team. You're screwing it up." But, like, bro, you don't got the right to say that, man. You do not play in the NFL. I want to see you put a pair of pads and, work like a guy like Deebo Samuel does on the field. Like, it's unacceptable, like, how people act these days that get so into their feelings and emotions. It's unacceptable, man. And I don't really know if Deebo's going to care. These kids are sending out death threats. Like, this guy's known by everyone. He's Deebo Samuel. He's got agents that work for him and stuff. So, but still, like, if Deebo's chill about it, like I'm not, because it's just unacceptable. It's just gone way too far from the Niner faithful. So
Ray says train rolling 2022. Completely agree. I am so
yes.
excited. I was thinking about that. I know this is kind of a different. I can't believe how excited I am for a quarterback who's in his second year in the league. I don't know if I had a dream or something about it, or I was just daydreaming about it. But I'm like, I'm an old guy, so I'm all about like experience and getting the best player in position to get the job done. But watching highlights of him and just seeing what he's doing in the offseason with all these guys, it gives me a lot of hope and anticipation for him having a pretty good year. I mean, he's going to have his bumps in the road for sure, but I think he's smart enough, and I think he's intelligent enough and has a grasp on things far beyond his years that he'll be just fine.
No, for sure, man. And it doesn't even feel like he's in his second year, right? Trey Lance still feels like in his rookie year. He's in his rookie year because he's only played when Jimmy got hurt, and he's only played like 3 games. He's only started 3 games. So honestly, I would still say he's in his rookie year, man. It doesn't even feel like time flies, man. Time flies. So
no border sports. It's like being in a new relationship. Definitely, when you first with that girl, or vice versa, everything's great in the beginning. You know, they smell good and they're nice and pretty, and you love being around them. Hopefully, it doesn't wear off, and it ends in a bad way, like some relationships or most relationships do. But yeah, definitely excited. I know it's a little bit off topic of what we're talking about, but definitely a lighter side of things. Niner Faithful says, I guarantee those people who sent Deebo death threats are the same nasty people who are killing. Okay, let me reread this again. I'm sorry, guys. I'm illiterate. I guarantee those people who sent Deebo death threats are the same nasty people who were killing Cap years ago, and the people who said that Mostert's family early in this. Yeah, it's all this. It's all the same scum. Niner Faithful. It's they're. It's. Listen, I've been a troll in my life, you know, with athletes. I'll be like, yeah, you suck or whatever. And, you know, I'll be very hard on an athlete, or I'll post something saying a dude is trash or a bum, but I'll never attack him personally. I'll never attack him in any other way than to say like, hey, the dude sucks or whatever, get him off the team. I was very hard on Dante Pettis, but most people agreed with me. You know what I mean? Most people agree with me, but I never attacked them and said like, go kill yourself, or, you know, you look like this, or you remind me of this.
Way too far.
That's a whole other level of stuff. Just wanted to say what's up to not Karthik. Amin the Dream real quick. He says, what's up, Karthik and Aaron? And he says he loves my setup. Yeah, bro, I'm still in my bedroom still, because my brother still lives with me, so I don't have my office yet. So I had to do something to kind of take away from it. So I figured I'd bring in the Star Wars lights in the back. So thank you very much.
No, it looks amazing, man.
Appreciate it. Ray says every fan base has bad apples. There's no excuse. Totally agree. Hello again. She says, Kimberly says hi to Karthik and Aaron. I appreciate you all coming in here very, very much. I'm a little rusty, guys, so if I'm stumbling over my words, it's because I haven't done this in a while, so bear with me. So one of the things I noticed online that got me super encouraged, and I know you saw it too, was the Mike McGlinchey video where he was running and lifting, and his quad look, at least from what we saw, looking good. We don't have, I mean, the season doesn't start till September, so technically he could set out the whole preseason and be ready to go in September. It's looking more and more likely. I know a lot of us fans had a lot of questions about offensive tackle, more than just interior line in the draft. And he also posted a picture of a scale saying he's like 310 pounds because of that picture that came out where he looked like he weighed about 240 pounds at 6'7". How excited are you to see that?
Hey, man, I'm super excited. I think for all the faithful, this is an amazing sign, right? Like, especially for there being doubts at the right tackle position, Mike McGlinchey's coming back, man. So this is obviously a great sign. He's lifting weights at the local pro day. You know, he's running. He's doing suicide. So this is obviously a good sign, man. This is not going to take away from our need for offensive line, obviously, but it's closing up some gaps on that old line. Like McGlinchey's coming back. I just want to see how he comes back, man. Is he going to come back even stronger, or I don't know, man. I still have my doubts, but this is obviously a good start. This is obviously a good sign. And like you said before, the season doesn't start until September. He could still sit, for the entire preseason. I don't want him to. In my opinion, I still want to see him working. I still want to see him getting into shape. Yeah, he looks bigger. I want to see how he can pass protect better, maybe with his weight.
Right.
He's still obviously a very, very good run blocker, but I think
Yep.
all of him lifting weights, running, I think all of this is just to protect a young quarterback like Trey Lance, and this is just giving me really bright hopes for the future because Mike McGlinchey, who people have bashed on many, many times, is doing his best to protect a young quarterback like Trey Lance, who's still only 22.
Yeah,
And
22.
just protecting a young guy like Trey Lance is just, you know, it just puts a smile on my face because he wants his quarterback to succeed and he's going to protect his blind side. So this is just a really good sign for the Niner faithful, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm happy to see him. It's fun. It's funny. Somebody made a comment about when he was out last year, how much we were going to miss him when we had guys like Brunskill and other people playing the tackle position. And I completely agree. It'd be nice to see if he can get some base in his booty and get some weight in his backside to anchor a little bit more because he is susceptible to getting bull rushed a lot. But he's definitely really good in the run game.
Of course.
But I'd still have him over anybody else we could put out there at right tackle right now. And I mean, plus the more guys are healthy going into the season, the less we have to worry about them. The more, like I said, the more we can go and draft for need, draft for best player available and not for need.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I really think when you draft for need, you reach, and that's just my opinion. I think when you go into a draft and you have to fill a need, look what the Niners did when they traded DeForest Buckner and then they went and they drafted Javon Kinlaw. And Kinlaw right now, as of now, has not worked out. As of now, I'm not saying he can't, not saying he won't, but the DeForest Buckner, were we just going to replace him with a draft pick line of thinking has not worked out so far. So hopefully he is ready to go when the season starts. Quad injury is pretty serious, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Quad when it tears off the bone and it rolls up in your leg and they have to reattach it. That's a pretty devastating injury, especially for someone who has to use their lower half to anchor and push off. So glad to see he's doing well right now. Hopefully he just continues to get stronger and better and healthier. And same with Javon Kinlaw. And hopefully come season time, we have those guys back in the fold and ready to go because we're going to need them this year, man. This is with Trey as the quarterback and him being really young, we're going to need all the help around him we can get. Defense is going to have to ball out. Offensive line and everybody else is really going to have to ball out because he's a young kid and he's going to take his lumps. So, everybody around him's got to up their level of play. If they could do it for Jimmy, they can do it for Trey. That's all I got to say. So,
yeah, for sure.
I'm going to read this real quick because this really, I don't know if I want to say this, Ray, because it dates you. He said, I've been a Niner fan since 78. I was born in 79, by the way. He says, I enjoyed the dynasty ride of the 1980s. I want the young faithful to experience winning the Super Bowl. I agree. I am hungry for 2022 to start with Trey Train. You know what? It's funny that you say that, Ray, because my nephew was born in 95, right? So he was born the summer after we won number 5. My nephew is a Niners fan like me, diehard. I bought him that Faithful to the Bay jacket, that real crispy, beautiful gold, shiny jacket. The smile on his face was ridiculous. But anyways, he's only experienced the loss to the Ravens and the loss to the Chiefs, and he's yet to experience it. And he goes in his lifetime, and I feel for him because I've seen the greatness, and I want him to experience it too. So you're right. I want this young fan base, guys like Karthik, to experience the thrill of winning a Super Bowl, and hopefully we're close, man. I mean, we were in the NFC Championship game with a team that was carried by Deebo Samuel. They were carried by him. If Deebo doesn't play the way he did this last season, we would have won 5 games. So I want to see this
with Jimmy under center.
Yeah, Jimmy. I'm not going to bash on Jimmy. I've kind of gotten past that whole situation, but we went as far as we could with Jimmy, and that was as far as we were going to go. And people could bring up his winning percentage all day till they're blue in the face, but the fact of the matter is, it's not going to change the fact that we didn't get it done. So Trey has a clean slate, and we'll see what he can do. I am old, but I wouldn't change a thing for experience of the dynasty of the '80s. I agree with you, and I meant that lightheartedly. I just said you dated yourself because I was born in '79. So anytime I say that to people who have memories, they'll be like, I was like 20 something, and I'm like, my bad. I didn't mean to make you feel old. So,
it's all good.
So the Niners signed some wide receivers over the past couple weeks. They brought in Marcus Johnson and Malik Turner and signed them both. You think these guys even make the roster, or you think they're more or less camp bodies, or is it something kind of in the middle?
Camp bodies, like I said before, they're just bringing in depth, man. I honestly like Marcus Johnson. He's really versatile. He did play special teams. He's 6'1", 207, so he's a big guy. He does have speed. I did a film breakdown of him on my channel, so go check that out. But he can go down the field. I think this is just a camp body. Just, it's just going to be a good depth piece. But I like where the Niners are going right now. They're just adding depth. They're bringing in more bodies. You could never have too much of anything. They did bring in Malik Turner from the Seahawks. Like I said, it's another depth piece. I really like him. So these are camp bodies, man. If a guy gets hurt like Jawan Jennings, third wide receiver, these guys could step up and be big. So I like where the Niners are going right now with their direction in free agency. So
nice. Ray says it's a compliment. Born in '71 like Tupac. Sweet. I was born the year Montana was drafted, Ray. So it makes me feel kind of special. That like I was brought into the world. It was almost like the universe aligned itself. I was born and Joe was drafted. I feel like if one doesn't happen, the other doesn't either. It's kind of like the
for sure.
space-time continuum or something. Sci-fi. What was I going to say? Like it's hard to say with these signings in March what they are. Are they guys that are going to make the... I mean, the Niners don't have a lot of proven talent past number 4. I mean, we brought in Ray. He's an experienced special teamer. He's played a little bit at receiver. I think Deebo's going to get signed. We have Ayuk, and then we have Jawan Jennings, who I think is going to be sneaky good next year. I'm telling people right now.
Yeah.
He's slow as molasses, but maybe he gets faster. Maybe he just becomes a better all-around player. Who knows? But, yeah, I mean, they could make the roster, and they both could not make the roster. I think one of them could, just because we need bodies. But it's April right now. You know what I mean? The draft is in about 2 weeks, so not overly concerned about the roster at this point, as far as that goes, because we still have the draft. But it'll be interesting to see. They gutted what was there last year. I mean, I remember we had Richie James on the roster at one point, and Travis Benjamin, and all these other guys that really did much of nothing. Who else was on the roster last year? I'm trying to think of his name. Trent Sherfield. He was kind of a preseason. He was like a preseason star with Trey, and then pretty much did nothing through the regular season.
You saw Jalen Hurd?
No, Jalen Hurd's long gone, brother. Long gone. He never played in a regular season game in his career.
Yeah, I was just wondering if he was on the roster. But.
He's still a free agent, so I think it's Dante Pettis and somebody else. I think Grant Cohn made a tweet about that, so that's pretty interesting. But next topic is with the Niners signing Trey at pass rusher. Do you think the Niners go safety in the second round at 61?
I think they go O-line, man. I do think safety is the need. Yeah, man. I really do. I think Jaquaski's going to stay. I think they do like Jaquaski. We'll see. I know it is an unknown, but O-line, we have Mag for another year, but, I feel like we need to draft a guy like Cole Strange. I think he can drop to 61, but a safety, I feel like all the good secondary players, I'm not saying it's a need, but I just don't think it's going to be realistic. Like, I don't think a good secondary player is going to drop to pick 61 in the second round. like Grant Gold said, I think all these good secondary players are going to be gone by pick 40, in my opinion. I might be wrong, but like, I feel like it's just too late. You've got guys like Jalen Petrie, but you do have assets to trade up, but like, what assets do you have? We need all the players we can, to build a good supporting cast around Trey. So, and we do not have a first round pick this year either. So, what are you gonna trade up for? Like, I know you can trade up. I know you have the assets to get a guy like Jalen Petrie. We'll see where he falls. I doubt he'll fall to pick 61. I feel like it's too late for him. For a guy that's that versatile with Baylor, he plays in the slot. He drifts back. He plays safety. He plays that K1 Williams role. So I don't think that versatile of a player will fall to 61. I think we need to draft the offensive lineman. I think Alex Mack is going to play another year. He did come out and say he will play another year and then mostly retire next year. So I think we need to draft a guy like Cole Strange at 61. So that could be a safety blanket if Alex Mack does retire. I actually like Jaquiski Tartt, man. I think he's really good. I think he's figured out his body, man. I feel like he's getting more durable. I'm not saying he does stay healthy, but people bash him. I feel like all this talk is just coming from him dropping that wide open pass in the NFC Championship game. Man, it's not all his fault, man. That was like not even like that.
Our offense wasn't doing anything anyways at that point. So who says we're going to go and score? We hadn't done nothing to that point. So
we still had a chance to score after the Jaquiski Tartt interception. The Rams went 3-0, and we still had a chance. And then the 49ers offense screwed up, and even Fred Warner, Jaquiski Tartt came up to the sideline, and Fred Warner says, we had so many other times in the game where we could have made plays. It's not all Jaquiski's fault. Yep. And I agree with him. Like, Jaquiski did not screw up the game for us. He did not. It's like,
I didn't even think twice about that dropped interception. I didn't. No,
it's frustrating,
I was pissed more at Jimmy and the offense and the fact that they stopped giving the ball to Deebo in that game more than I was worried about what Jaquiski Tartt did. Ray agrees with you. He thinks offensive line at 61 or best player available.
Yeah, that too.
And Jay agrees with me, edge or safety. I wouldn't mind if they doubled down on edge. We need somebody on the other side of Bosa. I feel Bosa's kind of like, he's kind of like the lone gunman out there, man. And I don't want him to get hurt by overplaying and being overused. I would like them to use a rotation. And the more bodies you can get out there that are, young and fresh and motivated and want to be coached up by Chris Kasarik, the better off you're going to be. So I was a little upset they didn't go after a guy like Chandler Jones. I heard that they were in on him, as they always say that they are about everybody, but the Niners wouldn't foot the bill, so to speak. So we'll see.
I don't know, man. I feel like the Niners are just going to stick to the George Odom thing again and be like, this guy's going to make big plays for us and stuff like that. I feel like they're just going to stick to that thing they do every single time they bring these one-year guys. And
No Border Sports says we don't need edge.
I don't think we do either. I feel like we just
disagree. And this is just my opinion. I feel like we're one Bosa injury away from having no pass rush. I feel like we could be effective with some of the guys that we have, and we can be creative. But, I mean, let's look at 2019 and look how dynamic. Look how dynamic that pass rush was in 2019. And when D Ford was on the field and, we had DeForest Buckner and all those other guys, it was something special. But that's my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right, but I want someone young. I would like to have somebody there that specifically is a edge rusher that comes in on second and third down and rushes the passer. That's all they do. They don't do anything else.
There's some really good defensive lineman depth, and really good players in this draft. So they could do that. You never know. They've got Ebiketie. They've got Boye Mafe. So there's really good prospects in this upcoming draft. So we'll see what they do. I just don't think we'll go edge. I feel like we just have way too much depth, and with a guy like Chris Kosarik, we've been signing free agents. This guy could just get them paid, man. I don't think we really need to draft, players. I think this guy's gonna work out. The guys we're getting, I feel like they're gonna work really well under a guy like Chris Kosarik. You got Sampson, you've got Kerry Hyder, you've got what's the name? I'm blanking on it. Kamiko Troy. Yeah. So I feel like they're just gonna be big time players, man. So.
Jay in the Bay, we have to pray for him because he hasn't slept since the NFC Championship game. He's had really bad insomnia. He says, I think about the dropped interception every night. I haven't been sleeping since the championship game. Oh, that's rough, homie. You need to go get some sleeping pills or something for that, because that sounds like a real bad issue.
No, man.
And
Definitely.
Jay agrees with me. He says you can never have too many pass rushers. The 49ers had 10 defensive linemen on game day last year. I expect the trend to continue. I do too. They could go safety in the third or offensive line in the third and go, or second, and then go edge in the third, just because they filled out the depth. So I wouldn't be mad either way. But yeah, it's just my opinion. Like I said, it's not fact.
I wouldn't be mad if they trade up and get a safety, honestly. I really wouldn't be mad. I just prefer an O-lineman. So
see this right here? This is what I'm talking about. The Giants beat Brady twice in the Super Bowl with pass rushers. Agreed. It's just the best. Doesn't matter how good you are at quarterback. The best way to get a good quarterback off his game is to rush him and hit him and hit him and hit him. Look how great Patrick Mahomes is, and look how feeble he looked in that Super Bowl.
He had no line in that game. That's why
he got crushed. I mean, his offensive line was a total mess in that game. But the fact of the matter is, you gotta protect. You gotta rush the passer, and even the best quarterbacks, if you hit them enough, they're going to become gun shy. So, Jay says we have a lot of vet guys on 1-year deals. It would be nice to have a young edge rusher contract for multiple years. Allow the Chris Kasurik mojo to infuse the young guy. Exactly. Me and Jay don't know. It's funny. Jay is the coolest guy. He's super nice. We don't always agree on a lot of things, especially because he likes to look at things with the glass half full. I'm more of the glass half empty. I have that New Yorker kind of negative approach to everything. But on this one, I totally agree. You can never have enough good pass rush, because I think a good pass rush trumps a secondary that might be struggling because it's able to elevate it. You know, when you have a good pass rush, if you're struggling on the back end, it can really help. So, yeah, like nobody knows. The Niners could, freaking trick us all and go corner it in the second round. So we don't know. Every time we think the Niners are going to do something, they go and the year they drafted McGlinchey at like number 9 or 10, I was pretty pissed off about that, but it is what it is. Joe Burrow got sacked so many times in the Super Bowl because of the Rams pass rush. Rams pass rush.
I agree, man.
Pass rush is crucial. Exactly. I'm not trying to make this like I disagree with you and I'm bashing you, Karkast.
No, you guys make great points, and I wouldn't be mad. I'm just saying I'd rather prefer offensive lineman. But
I just love pass rush. It's to me, I used to be all about throwing the ball back in the day, but I've become really addicted to a team and the ability to just run over people and play smash mouth defense by just hitting the quarterback all day. So they'll definitely, I like the conversation we're all having, and everybody's being real cool with each other. A lot of people are saying pass rush. Some people say the O-line in the second round, guaranteed. Gabriel Clark, they go O-line. You very much, maybe right, Gabriel. I have no idea. It's interesting. We have to wait till the second day of the draft before we get any answers. I'm going to ask you, Karkast, this isn't one of my topics, but I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask the chat. You think the Niners use any of their 2023 draft picks and come up in the back half of this first round and try to trade up to get somebody? Or do you think the Niners stay pat at 61, or do they move back at 61? What combination do you think, Karkast?
So you said the 2023 draft pick, and
like take one of their compensatory picks and take one of those, package it with something from this year, and go up and get somebody either back half of the first, or do they stay where they are at 61 and then maybe move back?
I think they could do that. That would honestly be great in my opinion. Like I said, getting guys like Jalen Petrie and players like that at the back half of the second round, hitting the second, back half of the first round, I thought, hitting the second round. I think that would be great, man. You can get really crucial first round prospects, really good players that could really be great for the future of this franchise. I think it would be great if they do take one of those compensatory picks, package it with one of the picks we have this year, and trade up into the back half of the first round. I think it would be great. I would do it, man.
Kim Harrison says trade up into the 40s, come up in the second. I actually if I had to be a betting man, Kim Ferrison, I think they trade back.
Okay.
I think they trade back. I think they say, you know what? We're going best player available. And we want to just, add on to the picks we have already. Let's trade back, but if they see somebody say like Kim says, they come up into the second round, that means that they have somebody eyed that they don't want to they don't want to miss, and they think they might miss on if they don't go up and get them. But we'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting. It'd be interesting to see because they don't have any first rounders this year and next year. They have some compensatory picks next year. Be interesting what they do.
For sure.
It's the draft really starts to me on the second day. I feel like the second and third day of the draft is where the draft really starts. Because if you look at most of your NFL rosters, most of it is filled out by, late day 2 and day 3 players. So first rounders are, hit and miss and very much not a guaranteed thing. So, I mean, Bosa was a guaranteed thing. Certain quarterbacks that have came out in the draft were guaranteed things, but it's never a guaranteed thing. So, and I think the Niners, their strength is when they actually draft later. So maybe this is going to work out perfectly for them. So,
for sure.
I guess we kind of covered the draft needs. I guess my next question to you would be, do you think the 49ers have failed to build around Trey Lance, or have they done enough this offseason?
They've done enough in free agency, and I think they would do even more in the draft. That's what I've been saying, man. I've just been sticking to that ever since. People have been saying, oh, we're being too lukewarm in free agency, this and that. But I honestly don't completely agree with that. I think we've been building a good team around Trey Lance, a good supporting cast. We've been signing guys left and right. We've gotten Charvarius Ford to up that defense even more. He's a ball hawk. He did have 11 penalties in 2020, so that is kind of downgrade, but we'll see. He's a ball hawk. I love how he played man coverage with Kansas City and Steve Spagnuolo with that defense. He did have 11 penalties, like I said, so he kind of needs to take that heat off, but still play sticky man coverage. So, and he has reduced those penalties in 2021. So they have upped the defense. They have gotten some good depth signs like Marcus Johnson, Malik Willis. They have gotten Ray McLeod, a good speed wide receiver, good special teamers. And, they've signed guys like Marcus Johnson, Ray, who are really versatile, could play special teams and the offense. And putting your offense in great field position is key to, I'm not going to say a second-year quarterback, man. I still think he's obviously a second-year quarterback, but he barely played in 2021. So putting your offense in a great field position is crucial. And to do that with a 21-year-old guy like Trey Lance is crucial to, man. To set up your offense for success, to score touchdowns, it's crucial, man. So that's really important. And I would say yes to your question. They have. And I think they'll do even better in the draft, in my opinion. So,
I was a little hard on the Niners, and I'm going to get to Ray and a couple other comments in a second, but I was a little concerned with the Niners in the beginning of free agency, and I was kind of crapping on them and really saying, oh, they need to be more like the Rams and be aggressive, and I still kind of feel like that. So sometimes they should take, a chance. Sure. But now I'm starting to get to the feeling where I think the Niners might, hopefully if they get this contract with Jimmy off the books and they can roll over the money into next year, who knows? Maybe the Niners make a move in mid-season if they're having a really good year and they think it's worth making that move with Trey. Then maybe they do something mid-season. Ray seems to think, in my deep feelings, I think the 49ers are going to make a big move as the draft nears. You might be right. I don't know what that move would be.
Jimmy G off the books.
Jimmy G maybe off the books. I hope it's not Deebo being traded, because I think that would be a crucial mistake. I think that would be a franchise killer, because players like him don't come around. People say, oh, you'll get a bunch of first rounders, and yeah, but that's not a guarantee you're going to get somebody who's going to give the production and the all out team player and team leader that he is. And you mix all that. You can't always recreate that. So hopefully the big move is getting rid of Jimmy. Gabriel Clark says big move, like signing Deebo. Yeah, exactly. There was talk. One of the reasons that the Niners move up I think it was No Borders and Kim Ferrison. What were they? They were talking about something back here. Let's see. If they move up, it would be for someone who was falling due to other team needs. Yeah, that would be that'd be the only way I could see them really moving up. It's hard to say if they stay at 61. The draft isn't as interesting when you don't have a first round pick. So I'm still going to watch the first round with my eye on the Niners possibly trying to trade up. So, and I know a lot of you guys are too. Like it'll be background noise. Like we'll be watching the first round and maybe like, I don't know, watching TV on another thing or using the bathroom or something. And they'll be like, oh, the Niners traded up. What is this all about? So we'll see. We'll see. Chris Royal, thank you very much for the $1.99, $1.99 super chat. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Am I going to Vegas? No. Don't have that kind of money this year. One of these days, I'm going to make a move. I have never went to a football game in my life. And I know you guys are like, what? Yeah, I've never been to a 49er game in my life. If the Niners come to Buffalo again, I'm going to take the trip. I was thinking about going to the West Coast with my brother and seeing them play the Dolphins, but I don't know. We'll see, guys. We'll see.
I haven't been to a Niner game either. I live in Jersey, so I live near Jets.
You're a New Yorker like me.
Yeah, I live near MetLife, man. About like an hour from New York, so maybe if the 49ers come to Philly, I'll go, but I'm doubting it. But we'll see.
I live in Rochester, New York, so I'm
okay.
Upstate. Yeah,
Rochester. Okay, yeah, I've been there a couple times. So
Ray says, I think I like Deebo, but things have gotten ugly. I hope both sides can reach agreement. But I've seen this before with Charles Haley. Right. That's a good comparison, Ray. The Niners losing Charles Haley to the Dallas Cowboys is what propelled the Dallas Cowboys over the top to beat the 49ers. I still think they were, the Niners were a really good team at that point, but Charles Haley had some serious issues with the 49ers. He had some mental health problems that he dealt with, and him in the front office, they should have found a way to, keep him on the squad. I know he wasn't a big fan of Steve Young in the early years because of what Steve did to Joe or what happened eventually with that whole thing. But yeah, you made a good point. You got to keep a guy like Deebo, and I hope things haven't gotten to a point of no return. A lot of people have said, Ray, that we'll see if nothing happens by draft day and the draft passes, then there's a sign that he'll end up staying on the team. If rumors start to come out or weird things start to happen getting close to the draft, I would be concerned too. So let's all pray and hope that ain't the issue, because I don't think losing Deebo would help us. It would hurt us. No Border Sports says Karkast and I and others will be live streaming the draft. I might try that. I don't know. We'll see. I have ADD, guys, so I don't know if I could sit there for 4 hours. I'd be like walking around, eating stuff, playing with the cat. I don't know if I'd be much to watch on camera. What's going on, Beto? Hello, Night Sickness. The OG of the OG is here in the chat, everybody. Pay your respect. And if you go to his chat, remember to wipe your feet. Real quick in the chat, I just want to tell everybody, I have all of Karkast info in my description. I have his Twitter and I have his YouTube channel. So definitely go check that out. Give this man a follow. Give this man a subscribe. Let's help get his name out there. He's a slow. It's a new channel. He's just beginning. So we got to get eyes on him, because I think for a young guy, he really has a lot that he brings to the table. So I definitely want to see him succeed in the YouTube game.
I appreciate those kind words, Aaron.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you for having me on more.
The Jimmy G situation, I did have it as one of my topics. What is your honest opinion about it? I've asked a lot of people that I've had streamed on. I personally am tired of it. I haven't really talked about it much. I just want him gone. What's your opinion?
Man, I've kind of reduced the quarterback topics, but man, we have to talk about Jimmy G. Man, he's still on the roster. Man, just get him off the books. If he does pass a physical and we do cut him, we still have to pay that injury guarantee, $7.5 million, which is kind of frustrating. We did sign some players, but we are still going to lose some money. We're going to have to pay that $7.5 million. But, everybody in the locker room likes him, man. Jimmy G's leadership, it spreads around the locker room. But, man, we need to get him off the books. I honestly think my prediction has been we're going to, you know, trade him, cut him, just get him off the books on draft day. Um, you know, there is slight rumors that he's gonna go to Carolina Panthers. Really haven't much into that yet, but there are some rumors that he's gonna go to Carolina. If we do trade him and find a good spot, we can allocate that 25.5, so number 19 on the team instead of this guy just taking up a roster spot on the 49ers. So maybe we could save up that and allocate it to a different roster piece on the team, allocate it to more crucial players that will have more of a bigger impact in 2022 with Trey Lance under center. So like every faithful things, we need to get this guy off the books, man. He's just taking up a roster spot. So just get him off the books. I think he'll be gone on draft day. So
Ray says he would trade him for a gas card. I totally agree.
I would trade him for a bag of chips and a can of soda, man.
Exactly. Some Doritos and some Mountain Dew, because I'm a big ginger ale fan. Mountain Dew. I like ginger ale. So this whole Jimmy thing to me, is just something that I'm just tired of and I want to see over with. I really hate this whole thing of everybody loves him and he's a great leader and it's all that. It's like, do you want to win or do you want to be best friends with everybody? I'm of the mindset and I'm old school, and I bet you Beto can agree to this to an extent. There's nothing wrong with a little creative tension sometimes on the team where there's a little bit of, everybody's singing Kumbaya and getting along and everything. But if we're not winning, who cares? I want there to be sometimes a little bit of stuff going on behind the scenes. Of course, Jay's going to troll me. I love you, Jay. Jay knows how much I can't stand Jimmy. But this whole like Kumbaya thing of like everybody loves him, and it's like, okay, but do you want to win? To me, I'm all about I love creative tension. I love there being a little bit of stress behind the scenes sometimes, because I think sometimes players, when they have an axe to grind and they're pissed off, you get the best out of them. So that's great that everybody likes him, and that's great that he's been a great teammate and everything. But the fact of the matter is, he hasn't been good enough to win us a Super Bowl. And if that's where my level of where I judge people by. Other people might be cool just to get to the championship game. I'm of the mindset that I want us to win and be every year in the game. So that's just my personal opinion. But
no, I agree. You're lucky to have a guy like Deebo Samuel on the team. Imagine what you couldn't have done with a guy like Deebo on the team. So you're lucky. You should be grateful. We have a guy like Deebo. So
I'm super grateful.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to Beto. He mentioned my lights. Beto, someday I will have a man cave like yours. Right now I have a bedroom, so I have to disguise it and make it look like something from Star Wars. But yeah, my brother is still in my crib. I wanted to do it in the basement and set it up in the basement, but it's not feasible because I have a bar in my basement that's in the way that needs to be destroyed, and then have to redo the floor where the bar was. Maybe go up against that back wall and have a bunch of neon signs and all that stuff. But we'll see. We have some time. It does the job right now, but I do want to get things looking better. Emmanuel Sanders, perfect. Thank you for that. Emmanuel Sanders talked about his leadership, but never said he was good on the field. Yeah, everybody always says the same thing about like he was a great leader and he has swagger, but no one ever mentions his inability to make throws in the crucial times, and how he's horrible in the playoffs, and how a lot of the fires that he puts out were created by him in the same game. We were like, oh, he brought us back. But yeah, he was the reason we fell behind with a bonehead interception or a turnover. So yeah, I like Kim. Kim Ferrison's always been a really good person in the comments, and this is just another example of that. Yeah, Emmanuel Sanders talked about the leadership, but never said he was good on the field. And Beto says he loves Star Wars. Well, that makes me like you even more now because I love Star Wars. David McNews says, I have lowered my price to Jimmy to one Rotten Tomato down from 8th rounder in a warm beer. Gross. I don't even drink beer, and I know warm beer tastes like piss, so that's nasty. Jay knows that he was trolling me, and he's laughing now. Awesome, Jay. Thank you for giving me trauma. Appreciate it. I guess the last couple questions I got for you. What's your opinion on the Niners coaching turnover? 14 new coaches coming into this year. And how are you? What's your opinion? Are you excited? Are you worried? Where do you sit on that?
Man, I'm excited, man. There's always upside to bringing new guys in. We do have Leonard Hankerson as our new wide receiver coach. We do have Brian Schneider, new special teams coach. Brian Greasy has a connection with Kyle Shanahan in Tampa when Kyle Shanahan was the offensive assistant. Brian Greasy was a starting quarterback, so they do have a connection over there. It's funny because he went from commenting Monday night NFL games to now being on the Shanahan coaching staff. And I feel like for a new quarterback like Trey Lance, who hasn't gotten much experience and is starting fresh, getting a guy who played the position is even better, man. I think his coaching experience will really come into play with a young guy like Trey Lance. People are saying Brian Greasy, what did he ever do in the NFL? Like, when was he ever a good NFL quarterback? I honestly wouldn't compare his coaching for Trey Lance to him ever being a good or trash quarterback in the NFL. I don't really care. He played the position. He knows how it works. He was under Kyle Shanahan, so Kyle Shanahan could give a few tips here and there, but he played the position, man, and that's what's really important. So he could really ingrain the tips that he got from playing the position into a young guy like Trey Lance and build around him. So I feel like that's a really good move by the 49ers. And the thing is, with these coaching moves, they're really getting coaches from within, and that's what I really like. They've been doing that with some free agents as well. But Leonard Hankerson, I'm blanking on the new tight ends coach. I don't know if you remember.
I'm blanking on it too.
14
I was
new
going to
coaches.
say John Embry, but that's not. He's the old coach.
There's like 14 new coaches. I can't even name half of them.
The one that and I hate to interrupt you. The one that really got me was Clay Kubiak. I don't know if I don't know how much you've studied the past, but Gary Kubiak was always John Elway's backup for a really long time. And he's one of those guys that became a decent head coach. It's funny. Sometimes backup quarterbacks make the best coaches or best offensive coordinators. And his son played in that same Broncos system, or his dad played in the Broncos system, just like Brian Greasy. Kyle Shanahan made a comment about Brian Greasy being one of the most prepared and professional guys that he's ever been around, and one of the smartest. He might not have had the ability on the field, but he had the smarts. And he thinks that Trey could really learn a lot from a guy that's been there. He's been through the struggles. He's been through the success. And whatever he lacks in experience, he makes up for in experience on the field, having done the same thing. So I'm actually really encouraged by their new coaching staff because I think they've kind of refreshed. They've rebooted this is a new era. Once Jimmy actually moves off this team, this will be a new era of 49er football. And I don't think people realize how much things are going to change. It'll still look similar in some aspects, but man, it's going to be interesting. I really hope Trey succeeds, and I think the Niners are trying to do their best to put as much around him, especially in the coaching staff, to get the most out of him. Yeah, you're right. Leonard Hankerson has played. Their new special teams coach. They've upgraded special teams roster wise. So I mean, they say you can win with 2 out of 3 parts of your team playing well in a game. Two out of 3 aspects have to be firing on all cylinders, whether that's offensive, defense, or defense and special teams. And I'm glad that they finally addressed special teams because they've had one of the worst special teams for quite a while. So definitely encouraged by all that. And I think that this new coaching staff, maybe it has a couple bumps in the road, just like Trey, but I think by the end of next season, we're going to see a lot of improvement from a lot of these players. And Ray made a good point. He says it's time for a change, much needed. Trey time is now. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Ray likes Trey Lance. Am I overstating? No, I'm just kidding. But my last question to you, and I know you're a young guy, so I don't know how much you are aware of Frank Gore and his career. Is Frank Gore a Hall of Famer?
I think he needs to be, man. It's kind of unbelievable that he's not. And I honestly think he should be. There's arguments that he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he should, man. Honestly, it's not even what you do on the field. I know he was great on the field. I'm only 15. I really haven't seen much of him with Joe Montana and Steve Young as as his quarterbacks. But man, for a small guy, he was
Frank Gore actually played. No, Frank Gore played in the 2000s. Montana and Young were far gone by then.
See, that's the thing, bro. I'm only
he
15
played with
now.
Alex. He played with Alex Smith and Kaepernick.
All right, Alex Smith and Kaepernick, man. This guy was small, but man, he was still a bulldozer, man. I think he's Hall of Fame worthy in my opinion. It's not only what he did on the field, but man, what he did on the field was also great, man. He helped the community in every which way he could. And man, he was great. And the thing that really put him on top was his durability.
Yeah,
He stayed healthy for almost every game, and that 50-yard touchdown run against the Sea Chickens was the best, man. Man, I wasn't really there to watch that on live on TV, but that was a great experience for Niner fans. So that was great, especially against a division rival back then and the Seahawks. So
to me, the one thing about him that I always loved is the fact that he took the game really seriously and he played really hard. Losing really bothered him. That's always the measure to me of a great player is how much losing bothers you. And he always felt like he could do more. And he was there through the rough years. I mean, dude, the Niners were bad in the 2000s, especially in the mid 2000s.
Through some dark times, man.
He was the standard. He didn't miss games. And he was the guy that always fell forward no matter what. And I would love to have a running back like him now on the field that, when you needed 2 yards, you get 3. If you needed 1 yard, you get 2. He was always that guy. To me, he was a great teammate. He was even a better player. And if you want to say that he was never the number one running back in any, statistical category, or he didn't have the all pros or this, or he was never the number one rated back in the league, all I got to say is to be number 3 all time in the history of the league in rushing yards, to me, that's ridiculous. So longevity and the ability to stay healthy as long as he did and to be number 3 all time. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. So it all depends on who's voting for him and who's advocating for him. But I think he's a Hall of Famer. My brother's a Dolphins fan. He thinks he's a Hall of Famer. So,
yes, man. The best availability is available. Availability, man. So
and that's something the Niners of recent times don't know about that because they always have guys that are missing a ton of games. So I wish we could have 11 Frank Gores on offense and defense, the guys who don't miss games constantly, but we don't, unfortunately. Couple more comments here. Niner Faithful says, what do you think if Baker goes to Seattle? I'm not concerned whatsoever about that. And Ray says, I am very interested to see what Trey can do, even if he has struggles, which I think he will too, honestly. I think he's a fast learner and putting in work is this offseason with Ayuk. Yeah, that's one thing about him that's impressive is the fact that he's putting in all this work with Ray and Juwan Jennings and Brandon Ayuk. So, I think he'll have his struggles, but it's all about how much he cares and what he does in the offseason to put into his craft. And so far, he's had a lot of people working with him with his mechanics and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see. Kim Ferguson says, I honestly think Trey's about to have a Patty Mahomes, Justin Herbert type season. Bro, I will take that any day of the freaking week and twice on Sunday. So, Karthik, it's been a blast.
I appreciate you having me on, Aaron.
It's been great. I'm definitely going to follow up and go on your channel at some point. If you want to tell everybody where to find you, even though I just told them, and what they can expect from Karkast YouTube channel.
I appreciate that, man. So as you guys might have known, I did have started a YouTube channel about a month ago. It is Karkast. Go hit that subscribe button for me. Go like my videos. And most importantly, turn on that bell to get notified whenever I go live. You can hook me up on Twitter if you want to collab with me. It is Karkast, same as my YouTube channel. I kept it plain and simple. You can catch me on IG as well. It is Karkast 2022. I dedicated that just for Niner content. I'm gonna start using my IG more. Really don't use my Instagram much often for Niner content. So it's mostly YouTube. I post Niner content day in and day out. Every week. I do usually 2 to 3 collabs a week. Trying to get more in. Try to get my face out there. So more viewers and stuff like that. But I'm also trying to do more collabs. I've done with Jay in the Bay as my most recent one, Celts Chronicles, I mean the Dream, the Youngster, the Legend. So I have done with a few great guys on my stream. I have been on John Jay's channel from 4 Yards Ultimate Report. So I have been on a couple of people's channels. But go subscribe to me. Go follow me on Twitter. Go show me the support. And once again, I truly appreciate you for having me on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem. I freaking, I know, like I said before early in the chat, I know a lot of the guys that I've streamed with who I've become kind of close with can agree that we'll always support the young guy, the up and comer, the fresh face, the person who's trying really hard to get his name out there and who's humble and hungry and trying to do a good job and bring 49er content to YouTube. I'll always be all for that. I was talking to other people, my nephew, my brother, and I was saying there's this young guy, his name is Karthik, and there's another guy named Me in the Dream. I said they're really young dudes. You know, I really have a special place in my heart for the young guys because, you know, I was that age one time, and I always appreciated someone older who would look out for me, or, you know, can't necessarily say collaborate because I didn't have a YouTube channel back then, but advocate or be there for me, someone to bounce ideas off of, questions. Hey, how'd you get that layout? How'd you get that intro? Anything, I'm there. I'll answer it at all times because I was a young kid once too. And, you know, I'm always there for people who are always there for me to help me out. I'll never forget that. So you always have to pay it forward in life and be there for the young guy or the young girl who needs you. So definitely appreciate you coming on. I appreciate everybody in the chat for being freaking super active. Some new faces in here that I haven't seen before. Thank you. I hope you return. Like I said, I haven't been super active on this because I don't know, like just lately I haven't been myself, but definitely going to try to stream closer to the draft, maybe do some collaborative work, and then maybe post-draft, maybe do a big roundtable with a bunch of crazy Niner fans, and we could talk about how we think the Niners are going to go 17-0 next year or whatever, and, you know, talk all funny business after the draft. So thanks, everybody, for coming on. Love everybody for their support. Karkast, once again, thank you for coming on, brother. Hope you can stick around a little bit after the stream so we can yuck it up a little bit. So next time, everybody, stay safe and healthy. And as I always say, I'll see you on the flip side.
Peace.